actual stream. I apologize, YouTube and Facebook. I have been talking and you have not been in on the conversation. So I'm going to say it again. You are with me on my IG, my FB, YouTube, and the Wisdom app. And I am so glad to have you here. And it is still Jarvis TV. So I am excited to have you here and to be a part of this. Tonight's conversation, we're going to be talking about how to evolve and elevate in your life, both personally and professionally. I want to say what's up to my people over here on the Wisdom app. I saw some hands clapping and a sign of life over here. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to let everybody know rules of engagement up front. If you want to come on and you want to chat with me live, please do not hesitate to request to join. I will bring you up. I may see you and I need to finish a point and then bring you up afterwards. But everybody who comes up, I'm going to give you 5 minutes because I have it set for 5 minutes on the Wisdom app. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, what I'll end up having to do is I'll have to give you a time and just say, hey, you got a couple more minutes, or I'll say in 30 seconds, let's wrap that up. But I want to respect the other people's opinions and times that people want to get involved in the conversation. It's all about that. And tonight's conversation is really going to be something for some that's going to be eye-opening. For others, it's going to be, you're going to feel like it's an aha moment, but you actually know like a lot of the things that I'm going to be saying to you. All right. So with all the things that I'm going to be saying to you, I want to make sure that we can have great dialogue. We have the Impact Rally coming up. Impact Rally 2022 is right around the corner. Now, I want to give you guys, since you're watching this, I'm going to give you a secret. There is going to be a special Impact Rally sale this weekend. It's going to start Friday night at midnight and run through Monday night at midnight. And if you have not gotten your ticket, this is your shot to get your ticket. You want to jump in and get your ticket. It's going to be similar to a flash sale, cyber sale, but we calling it the Impact Sale. Impact Sale for your ticket for the Impact Rally. It's about a week and a half away, y'all. It's going down. We have one of our premier speakers is going to be with us tomorrow night. That's Trail Donk Webb. And we're going to have a great conversation tomorrow night. But as of tonight's conversation is how to evolve and elevate in your personal life. And we're going to be talking about some things, pointing out some things, and we'll let the conversation get as deep as you want it to go. But before we get started, I got to go ahead and let y'all see this commercial. So we're going to run a quick commercial. When we come back from that commercial, then we're going to jump right in. And I'm going to say what's up to all my friends that are over here on YouTube, all my friends that I see over here on IG, and to my friends that I know that are over here on the Wisdom app. So enjoy this commercial. As soon as this commercial is over, we are going to get into the getting. Again, tonight's topic, how to evolve and elevate in your life, both personally and professionally. Enjoy the commercial and we'll be right at it. Yo, welcome back, YouTube and Facebook. I'm so glad that you guys made it back. I was having a conversation with my people over here on the Wisdom app on our IG. So tonight's conversation, elevating and evolving, how to elevate and evolve in your life, both personally and professionally. So the reason I came with this topic tonight is I was having a conversation with my team the other day, and it's something that I'm really big on trying to help those people around me excel and get to the next level. And when I say I'm really big on it, it's if you're on my team, I want to see you win. I want to make sure that whatever it is that's going on, that I personally am doing everything that I can to contribute and be of value to you. I want to be like I walk into the room and I look at things and I say, okay, how can I be of service? How can I take this to the next level? How can I help them get to the level that they want to get to? When I have conversations with my team, the things that I talk about with my team is I'm usually asking them, how are things going in life? What do you have going on? They each have, of the people that I call as like my team right now, my foundation, my core, they all have goals and aspirations of things that they want. And I want their goals and aspirations to be just as important to me as my goals and aspirations are. And if I have friends and that are close to me, they know that I'm always trying to figure out, like, how can I help you take your business to the next level? How can I help you take your thought life to the next level, your marriage to the next level, your friendships to the next level, your health life to the next level? Those things that I ask about, I ask those questions because I realize and I understand that if we're going to evolve and we're going to elevate in our personal and professional lives, it's not going to be like the theory of evolution. All right. We all know about the theory of evolution. And if you don't know about the theory of evolution, I'm going to give you Jarvis's version of the theory of evolution. And in thinking about the theory of evolution, there's a few things that come to mind. You got the Big Bang Theory. You got the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, of course, there had to be a chicken because you couldn't get an egg if you didn't have a chicken first. But then there are people who will argue that because they believe in this theory of evolution. And if we follow the theory of evolution, then that means that every single one of us that are sitting here, that are listening, that are watching, then that means that we actually came from apes, right? That's what the theory of evolution says. It says that apes were walking around, and as they were walking around, they evolved over time and they became men and women. Well, my question to that is, if that's the case, then why aren't there gorillas and monkeys in the zoo turning into men and women? How come we're not still seeing it? It's just a question. I'm not putting it out there to debate. I'm not putting it out there to argue, but I do want to talk about the theory of evolution, because if we can talk about the theory of evolution, then you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say evolving as an individual and it being on purpose. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be something that, like, when you think about who you are, you have to think about not just who you are, but who you want to be. And you have to say, okay, what steps do I need to take to become that? As we evolve, as we grow. Now, there's certain things where evolving is going to happen with time. Like, we have evolved into the adults that we are today because we understand more. However, there were some intentional things that took place. We watched TV, we listened to music, we talked to our friends, family, those people who are our coworkers, right? We've been in social circles. We have read books. We have like listened to podcasts. All of these things are things that we did intentionally. And what do I mean by we did those things intentionally? We made a choice to do those things. And in making a choice to do those things, there's information that was given to us that caused us to evolve into who we are today. People evolve daily. It's not accidental, it's intentional. And it's intentional because we make a choice to listen to, talk to, be around, be in the environment. Like, those are things that contribute to the evolution of who you are today. One of the things that I was very, very excited about, that I was very, very happy about, as far as being a contributor in corporate America, is I was able to help come up with and produce a program for Hertz, which is called the Hertz Leadership Evolution. And we called it Hertz Leadership Evolution because what we were doing is we were taking people when they came into the business and we were evolving them from being a day one new hire, from onboarding into a success path. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna say about that. But we were intentional about the steps that we put in there, about the trainings that we put in there, the mentoring that we put in there, the things that could take somebody to the next level. And because of that, now I want to take that same thought process and I want to help you with understanding that you have to be intentional with elevating and evolving in your personal life, and elevating and evolving in your professional life. And just for the sake of not having to say it over and over and over and over and over again, and not having to name off all the different areas, when I say your professional life, I'm going to be talking about your career. I'm talking about your entrepreneurship. I'm talking about if you're a student, your school life. I'm talking about your business. If you're a part of a business, your business life. And I'm going to talk about, and on a personal level, when I'm referring to personally, I'm talking about your relationships, whether it's a intimate relationship or not, right? And I'm also going to be talking about your family, all right? And then you as an individual. So all of those things are going to be encompassed in those two words, personal and professional. All right. Now, again, like I said, if you want to join into the conversation and you have anything that you want to add or you have a question that you want to ask, please don't hesitate to either put it into the chat. Don't hesitate to request to join the conversation, because I know that you'll have some great information that you can provide, that you'll be able to you'll add value to the conversation. Everything matters. Every question matters. Every insight matters. All of these things matter. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, then you can go ahead and click the link that I just put in there, and that'll bring you up into my studio, and you can join in the conversation with me. If you are on the Wisdom app, just request to join, and we'll bring you in. All right. So my first question, I guess, that I would have is how do you elevate and evolve in your life? So how do you elevate and evolve in your life? Well, the first thing that you have to do to elevate and evolve in your life is you have to be intentional. All right. Elevation and evolution is going to happen by you being intentional. You have to be intentional by you have to be intentional in a sense of saying, okay, this is what matter of fact, let's just put these two together. Be intentional and purposeful. All right. We were born on purpose for a purpose. It doesn't matter how we got here. We know the course of what it takes to get here. But there's a reason why you, human being, are here on this earth. So you are here on purpose. There is a reason for why you are here. I know that reason is that there's a reason for you to be here, because we all go through life searching for this one thing called purpose. What is my purpose? Why am I here? What is my purpose? You're here on purpose, and we spend all this time trying to figure out what is my purpose, right? Well, listen, if you're here and you're listening to me right now, part of your purpose is to be successful. That's a part of your purpose, because as you succeed, the people around you succeed. And yes, I see what you're saying, Shay. I'm glad. Intentionality. Yes, I see you, girl. I'm with you. But yeah, a part of your purpose is to be successful, because as you're successful, the people around you are going to obtain success. If you are a parent, you have to think you're trying to set your children up for success. So you are paving a way, you're sacrificing, you're putting in the grind, you're doing the things that you got to do, and you're leveling the playing field for your children to compete in this world. If you don't educate yourself, if you don't go and seek out the knowledge, and these are things that you have to do intentionally. I mean, let me back up. Let me make it a little I don't say easier, but let's find something that's going to be palatable to all of us. If I want to get in shape, right? Matter of fact, I'm a few years back, I remember I was probably the heaviest I'd ever been. Probably weighed about 235 pounds. And 235 pounds on my little 6-foot frame, it didn't look sexy, because I didn't have, it wasn't 230 pounds of muscle. It was just 35 pounds of just, put it like this. I walked past the mirror and I was in my favorite suit, which is my birthday suit. And when I walked past the mirror, I stopped and I looked. And you know how you do when you look at yourself in the mirror. You like, okay, I see you. Okay, got a little pectoral thing, got a little muscle. Like, you talk to yourself, you're grooming yourself, you're looking at your smile and everything. But I looked, and in that moment when I looked at myself, I personally did not like what I saw. It didn't matter what anybody else around me saw. At that moment, I personally did not like what I saw. And when I did not like what I saw, I took some very intentional steps. I had to be intentional, and I took some purposeful steps. I had to be purposeful. What were those steps that I took when I said, okay, I don't like what I see. I need to get in shape. I need to drop this weight. I need to, let me sculpt myself up. I need to tone up. I need to, I got to be able to, I don't want to be busting out the seams in my jacket. If I'm busting out the seams, I need it to be because the muscle is just that big, and I need to go ahead and get this tailored so it'll fit. Not because my belly is too big and I'm trying to keep the buttons from popping. Right? So the intentional steps, the purposeful steps, my intentionality was, okay, I'm waking up every morning and I'm going to go work out. My purposeful steps were, these are the things that are going to lead to me having a healthy lifestyle. And these are the things, like I started researching things. I started asking questions. I started talking to trainers. I started studying on how to train people. I started going back in my mind to, okay, what were the things that I did when I was in college that, okay, I need to, okay, let me get back to this. I started looking at what are the right things to eat, paying attention to what I'm eating, going and shopping, and intentionally not going to fast food restaurants, but instead finding the restaurant that would be the one that would have the healthiest option. These are steps that I took intentionally. Now, I feel great. I feel like I look great. And to be completely transparent and honest with you, honest, open, transparent, you know, your boy trying to keep it hot. Um, I haven't been in the gym for about a month. Matter of fact, since I started this challenge, I have not been in the gym. And I've been telling myself, okay, Jarvis, you got to get back into this intentionality. You got to be purposeful in the things that you're doing because your vitality is important. These are all things that are running through my mind because it's based on me being intentional and being purposeful. If you are not, I'm just going to be honest with you. You are not just going to wake up one day and be in great shape. You're not. I don't care who you are. I don't care what surgeries you get. Yeah, you may get the surgeries and they'll go ahead and they'll trim things away and they can sculpt and they can do all these other things. But the strength, the actual, it may look good on the outside, but on the inside, your body is decaying because you are not taking care of it. You may have sculpted that thing down, but you still have to work those muscles. You still have to move those joints. You still have to be intentional about maintaining the look that you've just created with whatever process you just went through. Now, that is not me saying that I'm against anything like that, because I'm all for it. I feel like it's there for you to do. Go ahead and do it. But if you're going to take the shortcut, don't cheat yourself and not maintain what you got. Even if you do the microwave process, right, and get things done, you still got to maintain it, and you have to be intentional about your maintaining it. Let me talk about professionally. When I was working for Hertz, I came into the company and I told myself that I did not want to stay at the bottom. That was the first thing I told myself. I am not going to stay at the bottom. There were just things that were at the bottom that I did not like. And at the bottom in any company is when you first walk in the door and you are that new hire, you're going through onboarding and you carry the anything trainee title. So at that point in my career, I was the management trainee. And I was like, okay, I gotta make moves. In my mind, I saw myself first as the branch manager because that was the next leader that I saw. So I was intentional about the trainings that I paid attention to. I was intentional about the meetings that I showed up for. I was intentional about the calls that I listened in on. I was intentional and purposeful about learning the numbers, learning the metrics. What are the KPIs? I didn't even know what a KPI was when I started with the company. But then I started to understand, okay, key performance indicators, let me jump on it. Boom. I was intentional about those things. And because I was intentional about those things, in a short amount of time, boom, I got my first promotion and I became a branch manager. Then I knew my next step. My next step was becoming an area manager. So I was like, okay, let me figure out what the area manager does. And I watched and I operated. And here's a little nugget for everybody who's watching. If you're looking for a promotion, if you're looking for not just a promotion, if you're looking to advance yourself in your personal career, then you need to start operating and acting now like you already have a position. I call that interviewing now for the position before the position's open. There are so many people out here who are watching you. They want to see, like, do you have what it takes? Interview every single day. If you're going in and you're clocking in to any 9 to 5, I don't care if you're salary or if you're exempt or non-exempt, it doesn't matter. If you're clocking into anybody's job, right, then you need to be intentional about, okay, I see that position, I'm going to get that position. And how do you do that? You come in with the mindset. If the boss is always there first, then you try to get there before the boss, right? If you're scheduled to be there at 7 o'clock and you know that your boss shows up at 6 o'clock, well, guess what? How about you show up at 6 o'clock when your boss is supposed to be there? Why not? Because if you're going to be the boss one day, then why not start being on time or early now instead of waiting until you become the boss to be like, okay, now I'm going to set an example, right? If your boss operates and moves a certain way, then you have to like try to figure that out. Why do they operate? Why do they move a certain way? And you got to start thinking that process. If you're like, I made it a point with every leader, every boss that I've had to ask them, what books are you reading right now? Why do I ask that question? Because leaders are readers. And as they're reading, they are being intentional about developing their mental capacity. They're being intentional about developing what we call in the corporate space their bandwidth, their mental bandwidth. They're being intentional about, the skills that they're improving, they're sharpening, right? So why not ask them? And I loved when I worked at Hertz because I had the opportunity to ask the CHO, the CEO, the CFO, the CRO, like the COO. I was able to ask all these people, what books are you reading? And don't you know that every book that they told me, some of them were reading the same books, but every book that they told me, I went ahead and bought. So when I move like this and you see those books down there, a lot of those books I got because the leaders that I was following behind, those were the leaders. Those are the books that they recommended. I jumped on them. And if I couldn't find those books, I got Audible on my phone. I downloaded every single book. Why? Because I'm being intentional and I'm being purposeful about the steps that I'm making to elevate and evolve my professional career, to elevate and evolve my personal career, my personal life. Now, I'm saying this and it can sound like everything's all like, rainbows and sunshine, but it's not. It's not the easiest thing to do to be intentional because your intentionality is going to take a thing called discipline. Oh boy, I feel like I just said a cuss word. Golly. Woo! Don't tell my mama. She will wash my mouth out. So matter of fact, you can tell my mama. Don't tell my grandmama. I'll say it again. Your intentionality is going to require this thing called discipline. Oh, goodness. I know. And what is discipline? Discipline is, whether or not I have to get up at 6 a.m. My alarm is going off every day at 6 a.m. and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to sit up and my eyes are going to blink at 6 a.m. and I'm going to probably move around, go use the restroom. I'm going to have some one-on-one time with Guy real quick. And then if I can go lay back down, then I will go lay back down. I love what Bob Mackey said the other day in our live together. He said, man, how much does it cost you to hit the snooze button? Ugh, man. And then he turned around and he said, everything that we do costs money. When you hit that snooze button and you lay back down for that next 30 minutes, you've just shorted yourself 30 minutes on your pathway to success. That's deep. I was just like, wow, not only is that deep, that's good. There's a lot of people that are out here, and I'll just throw myself in there because I've been there before, where your alarm clock will go off and you gotta get up, but you'll hit the snooze button and you'll still end up being late to work because you feel like you need the rest. Either you didn't go to sleep on time the night before, or who knows? We don't know. One of the things about me is if I know that I got to get up early, I'm going to be very, very intentional about making sure I go to bed at a certain time. Like I'll just shut everything down, go to bed. If I know that I got to get up early, if I know that there are people around me that have to get up early, even if I stay up late, I'm going to be intentional about making sure that my alarm is set to make sure that they wake up so that they can be where they got to be. Or if I'm talking to somebody on the phone and we're having a conversation, whether it's a client or it's a potential client, it's a friend, it's a family member, it doesn't matter. If we're talking and they say, hey, I have da-da-da-da at 1 o'clock, and I'm watching my clock like it's my meeting that I have to get ready for. Not because I want to get off the phone with them, but because I want to add value to who they are. I want to be intentional about encouraging them and pushing them to stay disciplined in what they told me, right? That's evolution. That's elevating. So let's talk about elevation. What is elevation? Well, elevation is when you go from one level to the next level. To the next level. Get it? Elevate. That means you go up. We get on elevators. The good thing about getting on the elevator is we can look at all the numbers that are sitting there on the board. What if you got on the elevator tomorrow and when you looked at the elevator, you saw level 1 was start your business. Floor 2 was make money in your business. Floor 3 was promotion in your company. Floor 4 was promotion to senior level. Floor 5 was make 100K on your personal business. Floor 6 was, you see where I'm going with this, right? If every single button had something that you could go to, and at that level you would experience, like if you went to that floor, you would experience what comes at that level. That would make life so easy because the intentionality would just be pushing a button. So when we're thinking about elevating our lives, whether it's personal or professional, we have to think, how do I take this elevator called life and take it to the next level? I'm trying to get to the top floor. How do I get to the top floor? Whenever you ask yourself questions like, how do I? How do we? How can this? That means that there's going to be some steps that you need to take. That means that you're going to have to operate at a higher level. You cannot think on a minimum level. You got to start thinking on a maximum level. And that's something that we're going to talk about. Not tonight, but I have a topic. Matter of fact, it's probably one of the things I'm talking about at the Impact Rally, but it's going to talk about going from minimum to maximum thinking. How to take your life from being a minimum thinker to a maximum thinker. But I'm just telling you, in being intentional, the only way you can get to the top level is you can't think minimal. You have to think at a maximum level. All right. And I said you have to be intentional. Your elevation will not happen on accident. You're not going to get promoted on accident, right? You're not going to get in shape on accident. You are not going to get healthy on accident. Those things are not things that are going to happen on accident. It's just not. You're not going to restore your relationship on accident. If nobody does anything, then the relationship's not going to be restored. It's going to take some steps that you have to take to get it. You are not going to break addictions on accident. Nobody wakes up and like, okay, I'm not addicted no more. And if they have, that's some super divine intervention. I wouldn't put it past God, but that's some super divine intervention. There's steps. If you think about a person who goes and they're trying to break themselves of alcoholism, then they have a 12-step process, I believe, that they go through. There's steps to it. There's steps to everything that you want to do that is going to take some intentionality or is going to take some discipline. If you think about, nobody makes a basketball team on accident. Nobody gets hired on accident. These things don't happen on accident. All of these things happen intentionally. And when you want to talk about elevating and evolving in your personal life, you want to talk about elevating and evolving in your professional life, then I want to challenge you to ask yourself, what are the things that I'm not doing that are inhibiting me from moving forward in my life personally and in my life professionally? I know that there are those of us that are out here that are grinding and you're going and you're moving and you feel like, oh my gosh, no matter what I do, nothing is working. I'm going to help you out. It's working. You just don't see it the way you want to see it. I've been there. I know the stress of waking up and being like, okay, what has to happen today? I know it. I know the stress of looking and saying, okay, oh my gosh, like, okay, this has to be taken care of. That has to be taken care of. This has to be taken care of. What do I need to do? I know that. Okay. So I don't want you to feel like it's just, like it just happens. I know there's calls that need to be made. There's moves that need to be made. There's things that you need to sit down and you need to write down. Right? Like I tell you guys all the time, I'm writing stuff down all the time. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I got notes of things that I was writing down earlier that it just ran across my mind. I just started writing. And then my next step is, okay, how do I put these things into action? How do I set up an action plan? You want to ask yourself these questions. What are you not doing? I didn't ask you what are you doing. What are you not doing in your life, personally, professionally, that is not allowing you or that is keeping you from moving forward, from elevating? You're standing on the elevator of life and you have been standing on the same floor and the door has been sitting wide open and it's just kind of closing and popping back open, closing and popping back open. Matter of fact, it's been doing it so long that now you got that annoying little, if you've ever been on an elevator where you hold the door too long, it's doing that to you and you're getting irritated. And you just, all you got to do is push the doggone button to go to the next level. What is the button that you're not pushing to take yourself to the next level? I am going to pause on that question right there, and I'm going to let you think about that. And while you're thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit another commercial break. So while we hit this commercial break, man, all I got to say is this is good for me. This is good. Like it's helping me just as much as it's helping you. And I hope that it's helping you. So if you are out there and this is good to you and you're getting some good nuggets out of this, throw some hearts, throw some clapping of the hands, whatever you got to do, just let me know that it's hitting home for you. Okay, let's go ahead and hit this commercial real quick and we'll be right back. Yo, welcome back, all my people over here on Facebook and YouTube. I was actually just saying what's up to talking to the people on Wisdom. I was taking some notes and then I was like, man, let me let them know what's going on. So if you have not registered for the Impact Rally 2022, then you need to register now. There are virtual tickets available, right? Just want to let you know. So let's get back into this conversation. The last thing that I asked is I asked the question, what are you not doing that's holding you back? That's pretty much what I asked you. What are you not doing that's holding you back? When you ask that question, you have to really be honest with yourself. Okay? You have to be honest with yourself. It's not easy to be honest with yourself because I've sat down at times and asked myself questions. Okay, what am I not doing that I need to be doing? And I've sat down at times, and this is me just being transparent, and I've started to write these things down, and I'll start to write down something, and I'm like, ooh, what if somebody else looks at what if somebody else looks at this? And I've intentionally not written it down and be like, no, I'll just lock it in up here. And then some time will pass, right? And then I'll come back to it, and I'm still dealing with that same thing. And I'm dealing with that same thing because I didn't take the time to write it down. So in asking the question, how do I elevate and evolve intentionally? How do I elevate and evolve on purpose? You got to write down the things that you want. I can't say that enough. You have to write down the things that you want. Because once you write down the things that you want, wherever you want to elevate in your life, if you want to elevate in your family, right? So let me say it like this. Let's say I was married and I wanted to elevate my family. I wanted to take my family to a new level financially. I wanted to take my family to a new level spiritually. I wanted to take my family to a new level emotionally. Well, what that's going to require is it's going to require for me to both evolve as a man and elevate as a man. So your elevation and your evolution in your life, it starts with you. Okay? I know I said be intentional and I know I said be purposeful. Both those things are absolutely correct. The starting point though is with you. You have to be self-aware. And if you think that you're extremely self-aware, the reality is you're not. You're not. I'm a very self-aware person, but there's a lot of things that I miss. So because I know that there's a lot of things that I miss, there are people around me that I allow to speak into my life. And that's something that you need in your life in order for you to be able to elevate your personal career and to elevate your professional career, to elevate your personal life and to elevate your professional life. You're going to need that. You're going to have that. And the reason why I say that you're going to have that is because we have this thing in our life called blind spots. And the blind spots that we have in our life, those blind spots, if we don't have somebody pointing out those blind spots, we could literally fall into a pit. We can fall into a pit, and falling into a pit is like, it can be making the wrong decision on something. Falling into a pit can be, being in a relationship with the wrong person. Falling into a pit could be spending money on the wrong thing. Falling into a pit can be investing in the wrong thing. Falling into a pit can be buying the wrong house, buying the wrong car. All of those things can equate to falling into a pit. Falling into a pit can be just being deceived because you did not take it to what I like to call wise counsel, which is a person or people. And, you've heard me talk about this before on various lives, but you have to have people in your life that can point out your flaws and you're okay with it. It's crazy when you have, and I chuckle whenever I'm talking with a client and you're pointing something out and they don't agree with you because they swear up and down. They feel like, no, I got that handled. And you're like, no, you don't. We all have areas where we feel like we have it handled, but we really don't. We all have areas where we feel like we are like the creme de la creme, but we're not really the creme de la creme. We're just the creme. We don't become the de la creme until we allow people to point out those blind spots. Every leader, mentor that I've ever had has always let me know that they have people in their life that point out their blind spots. My friends who are married, their wives point out blind spots. My like, for somebody like me, I am very intentional on telling various people who are close to me, hey, no, you can please talk to me about that. Please share that with me. Please tell me. When I have mentors that I'm working with directly, I ask them, please point out my blind spots. We all need somebody to point out your blind spots. That's an intentional move. That's very intentional. Because if somebody can point out your blind spots, it's almost like if you're, when you think about the GPS in your car, it tells you there's a pothole that's coming immediately. When you hear your GPS say there's a pothole ahead in zero point 0.5 miles, your eyes are peeled to the road, paying attention to make sure you don't run your car over that pothole. Accident ahead, you're paying attention, making sure, okay, what lane do I need to be in, right? That's what people who are in your life who can point out those blind spots do for you. Last night, Jason Kente said, soar with eagles. Eagles are those people that are like up here. Those are the people who are, they rise above the storm. I love that he said that. And it's all about taking your personal life and your professional life to the next level. Now, here's the thing about that evolution and that elevation piece that we don't really like to talk about all the time. As you're evolving and you're elevating as an individual, you're going to lose some people along the way. You are. You're going to experience anxiety at times. You're going to feel abandoned at times because you are moving faster than the people who are around you. I can remember a time where there was me and a good friend of mine. We basically came into an organization at the exact same time. Matter of fact, we committed to this organization right at the exact same time. And in us making the commitment, and this is what happens when you evolve and you elevate faster than the people around you, when you're doing it intentionally, right? When you're intentional about the steps that you're making and the moves that you're making and the things that you're doing, you're being purposeful about the people who you're talking to and the company that you're keeping and the environment that you're walking into. All these things are working together. They're working for you. So we came in at the exact same time. Within a matter of months, I went like, and he was like, and it's just like, so my, for those of you that are on the Wisdom app, is me elevating from one level to the next level to the next level, moving quickly. And my was him standing still in one spot, almost like broken glass all over the floor. I'm breaking and I'm shattering, glass ceilings, and he's staying in one spot. And within a year's time, I had evolved as a man and I had elevated. So like in my career, I had evolved as a leader and elevated in my career. I had evolved as a human being and elevated in my career, and he was in the same spot. We have all experienced this at some point or another in our life. Prime example, if you think back to when you were in high school, right? And some of us, we can even think back to when we were in college, and this applies to people that we were around in college. The people who we were around in high school that were pretty much we all had a circle of friends, and I'll use my circle of friends, / acquaintances. I remember my grandfather asking me who my real friends were. And I was like, I got a lot of friends. He's like, no, Jarvis, you have just a few true, real friends. And he broke it down to me and went through this whole thing. And I got to the understanding that I really had 2, maybe 3 people that I could really say that they were just really, truly my friends. Then he said, the rest of these people, when you look around, yeah, they're party hardy, they're this, they're that. When you look around, if you get away from them, when you come back in 5 years, they will be doing the same thing, just another day. Now, I can say that every single person under the sound of my voice, whether you're watching me live or you're watching me on a replay, every single one of us, or you're listening to me, have walked away from somewhere, come back sometime later, and you see people in the exact same spot doing the exact same thing that they were doing when you left. Whether it was a job that you worked at, because we all have had jobs in our past. There are people who work for companies that I used to work for that I no longer work for, and I've started to expand and grow in my career, and I go back and I talk to them, man, what are you doing now? And they're at the exact same place where I left them. That's called evolving and elevating past your peers. You lose some people along the way. And as you're evolving and elevating, one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to evolve and you're going to elevate. And those people, because they're not evolving with you, they don't speak your language anymore. Matter of fact, when you start to have conversations with them, it's kind of like you're not speaking on the same level. So it becomes almost hard or irritating to have those conversations, or they look at you differently, or they just stop hanging out with you. or that, your career is taking off. Matter of fact, you may have worked at a company and been in a position where you were a subordinate to these people, and they were just cool with you, and they're working with you, and they're riding with you, and then all of a sudden life takes off. You get a new career, you get picked up by another company, you're growing and you're blossoming, you're killing the game in what you're doing, and the people that you were connecting with at the old company are no longer really communicating with you the way that they did when you were there. As a matter of fact, now their communication with you is spotty, and it makes you feel as though that you did something wrong. I'm telling you now, you did nothing wrong. Those people see your elevation. Those people see your evolution. They're watching you and they're like, dang. And it's making them kind of take a step back and look at themselves. I have learned that when people pull themselves away from me as a leader, as a man who's evolving, that it's not necessarily that I did anything to them. It's that I'm doing something that they probably should be doing as well. And my moves are intimidating to them. And because they're not comfortable with the moves that I'm making, then what they're doing is they're backing away, because if they can back away, they're not going to be accountable for the moves that I'm making. They're not going to feel like they have to make the same moves that I am. That's how it is in everybody's life. We have people that have been around us that now you're moving up, and as you're moving up, they're like, oh, so you big time now. Okay, oh, you this and you that. When they start saying things like that, just smile. That means that they see your elevation and they see your evolution, and they are themselves questioning themselves as to like, dang, why am I not at that level? I'll tell you why they're not at that level and why they're not making the moves that you're making, because they don't have the level of intentionality that you have. They're not being purposeful in the groups of people that they hang out with. They're not making the sacrifices that you would be willing to make. Like, I can remember, man, in high school, all my friends they would go to parties all the time. Like, honestly, you guys, I wasn't that really party hardy guy in high school. I was like all about, let me take care of my mom, let me take care of my sister, let me work these jobs, let me play ball, I was focused. I wanted to get out of there. I was not happy with the environment, and I knew the only way that I can get out of the environment is I had to stay focused and I had to drive. So while everybody else wanted to go to the parties, I was working and I was studying. Then when I got into college, same thing happened. I knew. I was like, man, in order for me to get to where I need to go, I got to do this. I got to do that. There's been plenty of times, and I think I've done it for so long that even now I kind of get to a space where I'm just like, I'll just kind of chill out and hang out at home. But it's just because it's a learned behavior now. And I got to break that. I got to actually get out here in these streets. Not until Omicron is gone, though, of course. But listen, as you are moving up, you are literally you're going to start to set yourself apart. And it's not comfortable when you're set apart from everybody. When you're elevating and you're growing in your personal life, when you're elevating, you're growing in your professional life, there are people who have been in your life who aren't going to be able to make those transitions and those moves with you. They're just not going to be able to. They're not going to comprehend the decisions that you're going to have to make. They're not going to comprehend the moves that you're going to have to make. They're not going to comprehend the fact that you're disciplined. They're not gonna agree with. They're gonna tell you, it don't take all that to do, but like, they're gonna hear those kinds of things, right? But I want to encourage you to keep moving, and I want to encourage you to keep pushing, and I want to encourage you, like, trust the process. Don't be on that elevator of life and sit at level 1 waiting for everybody else to get on board. I made up in my mind that I'm not gonna wait and stand there and keep holding the door open of the elevator, waiting for everybody else to jump on board with me so that I can go to the next level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push and go to the next level, and then I'm going to push and go to the level after that, and I'm going to keep rising in those levels. And then as I'm rising in those levels, as I'm going from level to level, I'm going to send the elevator back down, because while I'm at one level, that's time for the elevator to go back down to the main floor and pick up some more people. And when it comes back up and I hit that button and I'm ready to move to the next level, if there's nobody on the elevator, guess what? I'm still getting on that elevator and I'm still going to the next level, because I'm trying to make it to the penthouse. I'm trying to get to the top floor. And I got to be surrounded around people who are getting to the top floor. If you are on the elevator of life and you're looking around and everybody's doing the same thing they were doing in high school, you need to either find a new elevator, because that elevator is broken and it's stuck. And I'd say it like this: if they're all doing the same thing they were doing in college, find a new elevator, because that elevator is broken and it's stuck. Get off of that elevator, get on another elevator, and start to move. It's okay, because you're gonna feel like you're in your lane by yourself. And the only reason you feel like you're in your lane by yourself is because you're walking in your purpose. And those people who were around you, they couldn't really make it with you. They couldn't run with you. They couldn't jog with you. They couldn't. It's like if I go and I train with somebody who's training for a marathon, that's not my race. They're gonna leave me behind. We may start off together, but they're gonna leave me behind. In this race of life, it is a marathon. We all have different races to run. However, there are a lot of people who are running the same race as us, and we just got to find those people so that when we're looking left and right, those people are there to encourage, empower, and push us. They're there to challenge us. All right. So, man, I'm gonna pause for the cause right there, because I feel like that's a good place to pause for the cause. I'm not gonna leave you with a question on that one, but what I am gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to shoot send a commercial across, and then after I send this commercial across, we're gonna come back and have a good conversation. Shay, you can talk to me through the commercial. All right, so let's go ahead and enjoy this commercial.
Hey, what are you waiting for? Go register for the Impact Rally now.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm glad that you got a chance to check out that commercial about how you can register for the Impact Rally. So you want to make sure that you get yourself registered. Yo, so this has been a good conversation thus far. And I'll say a good conversation thus far. We are talking about how to elevate and evolve in your life, both personally and professionally. One of the questions that I have is, when you feel like you're in a lane okay, so how do you handle the shift of what happens when you are elevating and evolving? So in elevation and evolution, in your personal life, there's going to be a shift. And what that shift is it's a mental shift. Because as you are growing from stage to stage, you're going from level to level, you are not going to think about things the way that you used to think about things. Like I don't think about things the same way that I thought about things when I was in high school. I don't think about things this year the same way that I thought about certain things last year. So every year in my mind, I'm evolving and I'm growing, I'm learning. There's a reading plan that I'm doing right now, and I'm looking at certain things differently because I'm edifying, educating, empowering myself through the things that I'm reading. I can go back and I can look at old videos of myself from like 10 years ago, and there's things that I may have said 10 years ago that are great, but then there's certain things I'm like, man, I wouldn't say that now. Prime example, my sister and I were having a conversation, and there was some advice that she was giving me on something, and it was based off of advice that I had given her like 8 years ago. And I had to tell her, like, for that time, that advice was perfect. But that same advice doesn't apply to now, because we have evolved. If you are not evolving and you're not elevating yourself, then what's happening is you're becoming antiquated and outdated. It's like walking down the street and seeing somebody who is still rocking, and this wouldn't be uncommon now, but let me find a better analogy, because I wasn't talking about clothes, but fashion is a different thing. It kind of circles. It's like walking down the street and seeing a 40-year-old man in a diaper being pushed in a stroller. He grew, right? Growing up, that just happens. Like that's just, you're just gonna grow. Like time is going to just continue to move. It doesn't stop for anybody. But he didn't evolve. He didn't elevate. It's like watching a grown. It's like watching a grown man, or a grown woman, chilling at the bus stop, sucking on a pacifier, and crying because somebody stepped in front of them in line at the bus stop. Like that. Those are the things that happen in a daycare. You're a grown man, grown woman, going into this 9 to 5 job, and you're gonna stand there and cry. There's a part of us, like, and I can't say it any better than this. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child. But as an adult, I put all my childish things away. I'm paraphrasing. And if you know where that's from, then you know what I'm talking about. We have to be intentional. Absolutely intentional. Yo, Sagittarius swag, what's happening with you? It's good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, we have to be intentional, very intentional in the things that we do. And as you are elevating and as you are evolving and that shift happens, the first shift that's going to happen is it's going to happen in your mindset. And the reason why it happens in your mindset is because you can't go to another level if your mind doesn't go there first. The canvas of your imagination, your mind, your will, your emotions, all those things, they work together to take you, your very being, your spirit, your soul to the next level. And you can't get to the next level if you're thinking on yesterday's level. You cannot win in 2022 if you're still thinking about the things that went wrong in 2021. You'll spend all of 2022 trying to fix what went wrong in 2021. In order to elevate and move forward, you have to literally tell yourself, okay, that's last year. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm moving forward. You have to control time. And I know that sounds weird because time is going to keep moving and running, and it's going to go and it's going to do what it's going to do. When I say control time, I am not talking about actually taking time as a whole and saying, okay, world stop. No, that's not going to happen. Okay. What I'm saying control time, what I'm telling you to do is I'm saying you have to take advantage of the moment. What is a moment? That's a moment. It's a blink of an eye. That's a moment. What are you going to do in the moment? What's going to be the intentional step that you're going to make? What's going to be the intentional move that you're going to make? What's going to be the words that are going to come out of your mouth? Are you going to process them before you say them? Are you going to think it through before you let it flow out? Or are you just going to fly off the handle and just let your emotions take over? All of those things matter. As you are moving, as you are elevating, the first thing that's going to happen is there's got to be a shift in your mindset. If you want to get in shape, you have to shift your mindset from being lazy to being active. If you want to get smarter, you got to shift your mindset from sitting around watching Netflix and chilling and playing video games all day to like, I'm going to read some books intentionally. If you want to elevate your business, you got to shift your mindset from I'm going to sit around and hope that something happens to let me research this. Let me research that. Like, you have to be intentional about this stuff. And it starts in your mindset. And as you have that shift, like I said, there's people that are around you that aren't going to be able to go with you. They're going to start falling off. What's up? I see my girl Jess. It's good to see you. Yeah, they're going to start falling off. People around, and that happens both in a corporate space and it happens in your personal space. It's going to happen, you all. Your life is going to be an ever-changing, ever-evolving life as long as you are on this earth. Nothing stays the same. Yes, there are people that are going to go through Arrested Development and they're going to be stuck right where they are, but it's because they are not making an intentional move to say, I am going to move forward. I am going to go do this. I am going to do that. You have to be intentional about the move that you're making. You have to. None of this stuff is going to happen on accident. So the way that you handle that shift is when your mind shifts, you have to allow yourself to be comfortable with that new mindset. And you have to embrace the person that you are becoming. And do not let yourself fall subject to other people's negative banter. Negative banter sounds like this. Oh, so you think you all that now? Okay. Oh, so you Johnny College now? Okay. Oh, so you trying to be white? Okay. That's what it's gonna sound like. Now, to those who watch who are white, basically that's somebody telling like a brown or a black person telling another person who's brown or black, oh, you think you smart. And I don't know why people equate white with speaking properly and intelligently. No, no. There is no color that goes to the ability to speak and articulate what you have to say. If you have things that you need to say it. Articulate your words. You don't have to worry about trying to do a code switch. And when I'm with these people, I'm gonna talk like this. When I'm without, yes, there's lax and there's comfortable situations where you can just talk a certain way around your family, and there's a business conversation. If you can have both those conversations, then great. That means that mentally you have elevated yourself, and personally you have evolved to be able to say, I can be in this space and I can be in that space, and we can make things happen. Everything that I'm sharing with you, these are things like I'm telling you, not just because I experienced them, but I've sat down and I've talked with some of my clients and they've gone through some of these things. That question was a real question. That shift, handling the shift of what happens when you're like, you're going to have to handle losing some people who you called your friends on the way, because everybody can't go with you. Everybody's not going to want to support your idea. Everybody's not going to want to support your vision. And I'll tell you this, quit looking at the people, like the people that you expect to help you are probably not going to be the ones to help you with your dream, your vision, your aspiration. Some of them will be, so no, don't exclude all of them, but do not be disappointed when those people that you feel like should be are not supporting you. All right? Like, so, man, as far as if I was going to wrap this all up tonight and I was going to tell you, like, elevating and evolving in your personal and professional life, how to, number one, be intentional and be purposeful. Number two, start with you first. You have to start with you first. Be self-aware, start with you. Number three, find people that are doing what you want to do and ask them questions. Allow them to mentor you. Not every mentor knows that they're mentoring you. People can be mentoring you from afar. All right? And what kind of questions do you ask them? What are the things that you failed at? If we ask that question, then we know what not to do. What would you do differently? Right? Great questions. Another thing, get people to pour into your life, to point out your blind spots, right? You got to have people around you that are going to point out your blind spots. So you got to be intentional and be purposeful. You got to know that it starts with you. So you got to be self-aware. You got to find people that can mentor you, and then get people that can point out your blind spots. Yeah. And the last thing is keep moving up in the elevator. Gauge where you are. See where you're at in that elevator of life. If you're not on the floor that you want to be on, look at the button, push the button so you can go to the floor. If that elevator is full of people who aren't going any further, get off that elevator, and there's another elevator in life, because it's your life, and get on that next elevator and take it to the next level. All right? You have what it takes. And the only way that you'll ever elevate, the only way that you'll ever evolve, is you have to start moving. You got to get up off your butt and go do something. You got to go do something, y'all. You will never be great just sitting still. But you can obtain greatness when you start moving. All right? So, hey, this is your boy Jarvis. That's what I got for you tonight. If you have any questions, any comments, anything like that, please feel free to share. Feel free to go back and comment in the comment section. Feel free to text me and share your comments with me that way. Whatever you would like to do, just feel free to do it at your leisure. This has been a great conversation, man. I definitely want to remind you guys, go register for the Impact Rally. It's Impact Rally 2022. It is happening. It's coming up next Friday and Saturday, January 28th and 29th. A very special weekend for a number of reasons, but the most important one is the Impact Rally 2022 is going to be life-changing. And tomorrow night, I will have my special guest, Trail Dunk Webb, a great man. Those of you who may not have ever heard of him, if you know anything about Lil Boosie, Independent, do you know what I mean? He was one of the main people that was with Boosie all the time. They're cousins, and he was in all of his videos. If you look at all of Boosie's old videos, this man had an amazing life change that took place. And tomorrow we're going to talk about it. So you want to be on here to check it out with me and my man Trail Dunk Webb. So now to get up out of here, what we're going to do is what we always do about this time is we are going to ride out to a song. Now, what song? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go ahead and just hit something like random. And then when I hit something random, we shall see what we get. Sound like a plan? Sounds like a plan. All right. Let's see what we got coming up. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is the song. Hey, so we got Lauryn Hill taking us out. Can't take our eyes off me, y'all. I don't know. But you guys have a great evening. Love y'all over here on IG. Absolutely love y'all. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow night. Deuces. And then from my people over here on Facebook and YouTube, man, I've absolutely enjoyed the conversation. Love you guys. I look forward to hearing from you because a lot of you guys hit me back later. So I'll holler at you later. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.